Have you ever wondered why the ultra-rich speak differently? Why their words seem to carry certainty, power, and clarity, while others speak from fear, doubt, or limitation? It's not just money in the bank that makes them powerful. It's the language they use, the vibration they carry, and the beliefs behind their words. Today, I'm telling you this: if you speak like the ultra-rich, your world will begin to rearrange itself to reflect that frequency. Everything, yes, everything, will start to change. The ultra-rich do not speak with hesitation, fear, or confusion. When they open their mouths, their words carry power, grounded in conviction and belief. Whether they are negotiating a deal, discussing a goal, or speaking about their future, their language reflects a mindset of certainty, not doubt. This single trait dramatically separates those who merely dream of wealth from those who actually create and sustain it. Certainty in speech isn't just a byproduct of having money, it is often the precursor to it. It's a manifestation of internal belief, of alignment between thought, feeling, and vision. And when someone consistently speaks from a place of inner conviction, their subconscious mind, the energy around them, and even other people begin responding in a way that affirms and supports that certainty. In simple terms, when you speak like you know it's already done, the world starts acting like it's already done too. Think about this. When a wealthy entrepreneur says, "I'm going to launch a new company next year, and it's going to be bigger than anything I've ever built," they don't follow that up with, "I hope it works," or "if I get lucky." No, they speak as if the outcome is already set in stone. This isn't arrogance, it's clarity, and clarity is magnetic. Now contrast that with how most people speak. The average person talks about money or goals with language like, "I hope this works out. I'll try my best, but who knows? With my luck, something will go wrong. Let's see what happens." These aren't harmless phrases. They are mental instructions being delivered directly to the subconscious mind, which takes all speech literally. The more someone speaks doubt, the more they reinforce it. That energy leaks into their actions, into their posture, into the decisions they make or avoid, and ultimately into the results they attract. Certainty in speech isn't about being blindly positive. It's about choosing a direction, standing in alignment with it, and speaking as if that outcome is inevitable. It's the ability to say, "This will work because I will make it work," rather than, "Let's hope it works out." Ultra-rich individuals are masterful at this kind of mental and verbal discipline. They don't entertain doubt in their vocabulary because they know doubt is expensive, not just financially, but energetically. This isn't limited to boardrooms or business deals either. Even in private conversations, ultra-successful individuals are deliberate with their words. They speak about their future homes, investments, legacies, and lifestyles as though they are already in motion. They don't qualify everything with F. They don't narrate their fears. They don't let uncertainty hijack the direction of their dreams. Their words consistently affirm that they are in control of their destiny, not at the mercy of it. The psychological power of speaking with certainty lies in the way it builds momentum. The more certain you sound, the more you begin to feel that certainty inside. And as that internal feeling grows stronger, your actions become bolder. You take risks with more confidence. You present yourself with more power. You handle setbacks with more resilience. All of these traits further reinforce your belief, and before long, you are living in a completely different reality, one that began with a shift in your language. Certainty also commands respect from others. People trust those who speak with conviction. Investors invest in people who believe in what they're building. Clients buy from professionals who speak with confidence. Team members follow leaders who sound sure of their vision. In contrast, doubt repels opportunities. When someone hedges every statement with uncertainty, they communicate to the world that they're not ready yet. It's important to understand that speaking with certainty doesn't mean lying about where you are. It means owning where you're going with unwavering belief. You can be completely broke and still say, I am building a multi-million-dollar company. You can be in debt and still say, I am mastering money and wealth is flowing toward me. You are not pretending. You are proclaiming. And when you speak your future with authority, you start creating the conditions that bring it into reality. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly. That is exactly what speaking with certainty does. It aligns your words with the outcome long before the physical results have caught up. You don't need to see the money to believe it's coming. You speak it anyway. That's faith. That's power. That's how the ultra-rich think, and that's how they talk. If you want to rise above limitations, shift your vocabulary. Begin noticing how often you speak with doubt, and deliberately replace it with language of faith, direction, and purpose. Stop saying, I hope, and start saying, I expect. Replace, let's see what happens. With this is how it's unfolding. Don't describe your life as it is. Describe it as you want it to be. Speak from where you're going, not from where you've been. In conclusion, speaking with certainty isn't just about sounding confident. It's about embodying a mindset of belief that shapes your reality from the inside out. The ultra-rich do not wait for external proof before they commit to their vision. They declare it boldly, consistently, and unapologetically. Their words become their blueprint, and so can yours. Speak with certainty and watch everything change. The way the ultra-rich speak is a reflection of how they think, and how they think is a blueprint for how they live. What sets them apart is not just the number in their bank account, but the language they use every single day to affirm their identity, direct their outcomes, and influence the reality they are building. One of the most powerful things they do is replace limiting phrases with empowering language. This habit, though simple on the surface, is transformational in its impact. Most people speak about their lives, goals, and finances in ways that actually keep them stuck. They don't realize that their casual statements are shaping their mental atmosphere and energy field. Phrases like, I'm always broke, money doesn't come easy, I can't afford that, or that's too expensive, are spoken unconsciously, but they carry heavy consequences. These phrases reinforce a belief in limitation and scarcity, which then gets mirrored back by the universe through experiences that confirm them. The ultra-rich avoid such language with precision. Instead, they reframe their words in ways that open the mind, rather than shut it down. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, they might say, how can I afford this in a way that aligns with my goals? Instead of saying, this probably won't work, they say, let's find a way to make this work. Even when facing challenges, they choose empowering alternatives like, there's a solution to every problem, or, this setback is a setup for something greater. These shifts may seem small, but language is never neutral. It either empowers or disempowers. The ultra-rich understand this truth and use it to shape their mindset daily. It's not about pretending or lying to oneself. It's about choosing words that align with growth, possibility, and forward movement. Language isn't just communication, it's programming. When you speak, you're not only expressing how you feel, you're instructing your subconscious on what to expect. Over time, those instructions turn into patterns, and those patterns turn into your reality. That's why the ultra-successful are so intentional with what they say. They guard their words as if they were currency. Because energetically, they are. But beyond eliminating limiting phrases, the ultra-rich go even further. They speak their vision into the present moment. They use present, tense affirmations that declare what they desire as if it's already happening. You won't hear them say, someday I'll be rich, or hopefully I'll succeed. They say, I am building wealth. I am successful. I attract profitable opportunities. I live in abundance now. These declarations are not based on current conditions. They are based on belief. This practice is rooted in spiritual and psychological truth. When you declare something in the present tense, you train your mind to accept it as part of your identity. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what's real and imagined. It simply follows the dominant belief. So when you repeatedly affirm that you are abundant, capable, powerful, and aligned with success, your internal compass starts guiding you toward decisions, behaviors, and opportunities that match that identity. The ultra-rich don't wait for the money to show up to feel wealthy. They speak from a wealthy state of mind long before it materializes. This isn't delusion. It's alignment. They understand the law of assumption. What you assume to be true eventually becomes true. So they train their words to match the outcome they want, rather than the circumstances they're currently experiencing. This form of speech is a declaration of faith. It's about acting as if, speaking as if, and believing as if the future is already here. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the spoken word carries vibration, and that affirmations said with feeling plant the seeds of manifestation. When the ultra-rich say, I am always supported financially, they are not simply hoping. It's a command to their subconscious and the universe. Their life begins to adjust accordingly. It's not enough to just remove negative language. You must replace it with powerful, present, tense affirmations that reflect where you are going. Start saying things like, money comes to me easily. I create value that pays me abundantly. I deserve wealth. Every day I become more prosperous. These statements might feel unnatural at first, but with repetition they become beliefs, and beliefs shape everything. In conclusion, the ultra-rich have mastered the inner game of wealth by mastering their language. They replace every limiting phrase with words that empower, and they declare their desires in the present tense as if they are already real. This isn't just positive thinking, it's strategic alignment. It's the conscious creation of a mindset that attracts abundance naturally. If you change your words, you change your frequency. And when your frequency shifts, everything in your life begins to match it. The power is in your mouth. Speak possibility. Speak success. Speak wealth. Replace fear with faith and doubt with declaration. Don't describe your life as it is. Speak it as you want it to be. That's how the ultra-rich do it. And if you start speaking like them, it's only a matter of time before you start living like them too. The ultra-rich speak a different language, not just in dialect but in energy, tone, and intention. This difference isn't accidental. It's a cultivated mindset and a habit of expression that directly supports their wealth, influence, and success. One of the most defining aspects of their language is that it reflects value, not victimhood. While many people unconsciously adopt a speech pattern that centers around blame, scarcity, or powerlessness, the ultra-rich focus on responsibility, opportunity, and creation. They don't talk about what others did to them or what life owes them. They talk about what they are building, what they are contributing, and what they are creating next. When things go wrong, they don't waste time complaining or pointing fingers. Instead, they ask, what can I learn from this? Or, how can I turn this into an advantage? This is a huge shift from the typical reactive language of the masses. By refusing to be victims of circumstance, they reclaim control through their words. That verbal control becomes mental control, and mental control becomes real-world success. Speaking from value is not about ignoring pain or denying challenges. It's about refusing to let circumstances write your story. The ultra-rich write their own story, starting with how they speak about it. This ability to speak powerfully comes from a place of inner faith. The ultra-rich speak with confidence, not because everything is perfect, but because they have learned to trust the process. They use their words to affirm faith, not fear. When faced with uncertainty, most people speak their worries out loud. They say things like, "What if it all falls apart?" Or, "This probably won't work." But the ultra-rich anchor their words in belief. They say, "This challenge is making me stronger." Or, "Something greater is coming." They understand that every word carries emotional and spiritual weight, and they refuse to give power to fear with their voice. Even when no one is listening, the ultra-successful are speaking faith into their future. They understand that fear multiplies when spoken, but faith strengthens. Every sentence becomes a prayer, an instruction to the subconscious, and a declaration to the universe. They guard their mouths because they know one doubtful phrase can undo hours of positive mental work. Speaking faith doesn't mean being naive. It means choosing to focus on solutions, blessings, opportunities, and purpose even when things look uncertain. This habit of speaking positively during pressure is what gives the ultra-rich emotional resilience, calm confidence, and sharp clarity. Their ability to rise above crisis often starts with how they talk to themselves. Part of this verbal discipline is the refusal to indulge in gossip, complaints, or negativity. The ultra-rich understand that these low-vibration conversations not only waste time, but also pull energy away from creation and abundance. You won't hear wealthy, intentional people saying things like, "This world is falling apart," "People are terrible," or "Nothing good ever lasts." That kind of talk has no place in their space. Why? Because they understand that what you focus on expands, and what you speak about, you attract more of. Negative words cloud the mind, block gratitude, and disconnect you from the flow of inspired ideas and action. Instead, they talk about goals, strategies, breakthroughs, and solutions. Even when discussing difficult topics, their focus is always constructive. They don't dwell on drama, they rise above it. Their words reflect vision, not confusion. They're far more likely to say, "Let's figure out a solution," than "This is a disaster." By speaking from a high place, they stay in a high place emotionally and mentally, which keeps them aligned with high-level opportunities. All of these habits, the refusal to speak as a victim, the devotion to faith-based language, and the avoidance of negativity, form a foundation of verbal power that supports real-world wealth and influence. And the beauty of it is, anyone can begin to practice this, regardless of where they're starting. You don't need millions in the bank to speak like a millionaire. You need awareness, discipline, and a decision to change your story, starting with your mouth. In conclusion, the ultra-rich speak differently because they think differently, and they think differently because they choose their words with care. They don't use language to describe their limitations, they use language to command their future. They don't speak fear into their lives, they speak faith. They don't get dragged into gossip and complaints, they rise above it, conserving their energy for higher purposes. These aren't just success habits, they are life principles that elevate every area of your being. If you want your reality to change, your speech must change first. Start speaking like someone who knows their value. Speak like someone who trusts in what's coming, not just what's visible. Eliminate the vocabulary of fear and lack, and replace it with words of strength, abundance, and faith. Protect your energy by protecting your speech. The moment your words shift, your world will begin to shift too. Speak like the ultra-rich, and everything around you will rise to meet your voice. There's a hidden language that the ultra-rich speak, a pattern not just in what they say, but in how they say it, when they say it, and most importantly, what they refuse to say. It's a verbal frequency that sets them apart, not because of their wealth, but because of their mindset. That mindset is constantly shaping their wealth, their opportunities, and their influence. At the core of this language is a powerful principle: they declare their reality into existence. They do not describe life as it is. They speak life as they want it to be. And that simple, unwavering discipline changes everything. The ultra-rich don't wait for circumstances to change before they change their language. They shift their speech first, knowing that their words are the steering wheel of their destiny. When most people are caught up in what's wrong or what's missing, those who are building empires speak of what's possible, what's being created, and what they are becoming. They know that the moment they say, "I am attracting new opportunities," the brain begins scanning the environment to match that command. They understand that declarations create alignment between their words, their beliefs, and their behaviors. And from that alignment, new results are born. Most people unknowingly speak limitations into their lives. They say things like, "I'll never catch a break," or "It's always one thing after another." These aren't just phrases, they're verbal contracts with struggle. The ultra-rich break those contracts by replacing them with bold, present, tense declarations. They don't just think big, they speak big. Phrases like, "I am building a legacy," "Money flows to me easily," or "I am surrounded by aligned opportunities," are not spoken for motivation alone. They are creative tools, energetic signatures, and instructions to both the mind and the universe. That kind of speech only works when it's fueled by faith, not fear. The ultra-wealthy speak from belief even when the external picture hasn't caught up. They don't let temporary setbacks rewrite their truth. Instead, they affirm what they know is unfolding, even if they can't see it yet. That's the difference between reacting to life and creating life. When a challenge arises, the average person speaks fear into it. "This is bad. I don't think I can get through this." Or, "This will set me back." In contrast, the ultra-rich speak through the storm with statements like, "This is building me. I'll come out stronger," or "This is part of my breakthrough." Their words are always charged with expectancy, not anxiety. They don't hope something might happen. They expect it to. That level of faith makes their speech magnetic. People are drawn to those who speak with conviction. Opportunities are attracted to those who sound certain. Faith-backed speech sets a tone of inevitability, and that tone creates a gravitational pull around the speaker. That's why successful people often seem to attract the right people, deals, and breakthroughs. They've already spoken them into their field of awareness. Equally important is what they don't say. The ultra-rich are highly intentional about avoiding gossip, complaints, and conversations soaked in negativity, not because they want to appear polite, but because they understand the cost of speaking low-frequency words. When you gossip about others, complain about your circumstances, or engage in bitter talk, you lower your vibration and detach from the creative flow that fuels abundance. The ultra-rich won't waste breath on things that drain them. Their speech reflects their standards. Their conversations are centered around solutions, not problems, growth, not gossip, purpose, not pettiness. This mental boundary protects their energy and keeps them in alignment with what they truly want to create. When someone starts gossiping or complaining, they either redirect the conversation or excuse themselves altogether. Not because they're rude, but because they understand that words are portals. Every word spoken opens a doorway to progress or to stagnation, and they refuse to open doors that lead backward. That level of speech control might seem rigid, but it's actually freeing. It frees them from cycles of drama, distraction, and depletion. It clears the air so that creativity, opportunity, and prosperity can flow uninterrupted. When the ultra-rich speak about their goals, they don't speak as if they're faraway dreams. They speak as if they're daily realities being built right now. They don't say, "One day I'll be wealthy." They say, "I'm expanding my wealth every day." That present, tense declaration isn't just motivational fluff. It's psychological reprogramming. It installs a belief that your desired future is already unfolding, not something you're chasing. That belief triggers consistent action. Because when your mind hears you say, "I am successful," it starts filtering reality in a way that supports that identity. Suddenly, you notice opportunities, make better decisions, and attract people who see you the same way you see yourself. Your words become your mirror, and soon your life reflects it back to you. In conclusion, the ultra-rich don't just think differently. They speak differently, and that difference creates transformation. They don't narrate struggle, they narrate growth. They don't speak from fear, they speak from faith. They don't echo gossip or negativity, they project clarity and power. Their words are tools, declarations, affirmations, and blueprints, and they know that speaking with intention is one of the most powerful forms of manifestation. So if you're ready to shift your life, shift your language. Speak value into every conversation. Declare your future in the present tense. Speak from power, not pain. Speak from vision, not victimhood. Guard your tongue like it holds the key to your destiny, because it does. Speak like the ultra-rich, and everything around you will begin to rise. Your reality is listening. Your future is forming. Your next level is waiting for your command. Open your mouth, and build it with every word you say. The way you speak holds the blueprint of the life you are either creating or destroying. The ultra-rich understand this, perhaps better than anyone else. They know that speech is not merely a tool for communication, it is a force of creation. Every word they speak is intentional, powerful, and directed. They use language not to describe what is, but to shape what will be. If you listen closely, you'll hear the difference. They speak from identity, not from circumstance. And that shift changes everything. Where the average person might say, "I'm trying to make it," or "I hope things get better," the ultra-rich speak in terms of certainty. "I'm building something great," or "This is only the beginning of my success." It's not arrogance, it's clarity. They speak with such confidence that even before results show up, their energy commands respect and alignment. The world responds not just to what they say, but how they say it. That confidence is magnetic. It pulls people, ideas, resources, and opportunity into their orbit. This power comes largely from their ability to take ownership of their journey. They don't speak like victims. They don't say, "This always happens to me," or "Life isn't fair." They speak from agency. Even in difficulty, they reframe their language to reflect growth. "This challenge is building me," or "Every setback is a setup for something greater." Their words are chosen to affirm possibility, not limitation. In doing so, they maintain authority over their narrative. They don't hand over the pen to fate or fear. They write their future with the ink of self-belief. They also speak as if what they want is already happening. There's no waiting for proof to speak abundance. They speak it first. Most people say, "I'll feel successful when I achieve XYZ," but the ultra-rich say, "I am successful," and then proceed to act like it. Their use of present tense affirmations is not a motivational gimmick, it is a spiritual law in motion. When you speak something as if it's already done, your subconscious begins to believe it's real, and then your actions, expectations, and decisions begin to align with that belief. Over time, reality has no choice but to catch up with what you've declared. This way of speaking becomes a daily practice, not just in public or in moments of confidence, but especially in moments of fear or uncertainty. When things are unclear, when risk is high, when others are panicking, that's when the ultra-rich double down on empowering language. They don't let circumstances define their speech. Instead, their speech transforms the circumstances. They say things like, "I always find a way," or "Something good is coming from this," or "I trust the process." These phrases are more than coping mechanisms. They are anchors of certainty in a world full of noise and doubt. You'll also notice that those who operate at the highest levels protect their environment from verbal toxicity. They don't allow gossip, whining, or petty talk to linger in their space. Their time is too valuable, their energy too focused. They don't waste their voice on complaining, because they understand that every complaint is a withdrawal from the account of clarity. Instead, their speech is purpose-driven, solution-oriented, and visionary. Even when they vent, they do so to find clarity, not to dump negativity. They're always moving the conversation forward. Language, for them, is a sacred tool. It's how they command the invisible into the visible. When they speak about their goals, they speak with enthusiasm, not hesitation. When they speak about money, they do it with respect, not scarcity. When they speak about others, they uplift, not diminish. These patterns aren't learned overnight, but they are consciously developed over time, and they shape how the ultra-rich think, act, and show up in every area of life. It's not about pretending to be rich or faking confidence. It's about choosing the kind of reality you want and speaking from that place, consistently. If you want to elevate your life, elevate your language. Pay attention to the little phrases you say out of habit. Catch yourself when you speak in fear. Interrupt yourself when you declare limitation. Replace "I can't" with "I'm finding a way." Replace "that's not for me" with "how can I position myself to receive that?" The words you speak shape the beliefs you live by, and those beliefs shape every result in your life. When you speak from power, you begin to think from power. When you think from power, you act from power. And when you act from power, you create a life that reflects that energy back to you. This is how the ultra-rich build their worlds, from the inside out, from word to thought to action to manifestation. The results you see are not random. They are the fruit of intentional language, deliberate thinking, and unwavering focus. In conclusion, the most powerful shift you can make isn't external, it's internal. It begins with how you talk about yourself, your future, your money, your potential, and your place in the world. The ultra-rich speak with clarity, ownership, faith, and direction. They speak as if their dreams are already unfolding, because they are. They protect their language the way others protect their money, because they understand it's even more valuable. You can do the same. You can start today. Change the way you speak, and everything else will follow. Replace doubt with declaration. Replace fear with faith. Replace reaction with intentional creation. Speak like the ultra-rich, not because of what's in your account, but because of what's in your heart, and watch your entire world begin to rise to meet your words. There is a profound difference between how the average person speaks and how the ultra-rich speak. That difference isn't just in the choice of words. It's in the intention, energy, and consciousness behind every word. The ultra-rich don't use language casually. They speak to direct, shape, and design their lives. They understand that every word either opens doors or builds walls. Words to them are tools for creation, not just expression. If you listen carefully, you'll notice that they speak from certainty, not from doubt. They don't say, "I hope this works," or "let's see what happens." They say, "This will work," or "I am committed to making it happen." Their speech is not rooted in chance, but in clarity. They have trained themselves to speak only what they want to experience, not what they fear. When uncertainty arises, they don't give voice to panic. Instead, they anchor themselves with empowering words that reflect trust, not hesitation. Their language creates stability even in chaos. It's this consistency of confident, intentional speech that builds the foundation for everything else. Another major distinction is how they handle limiting thoughts. Most people speak from lack without realizing it. They casually say things like, "I can't afford that," "that's too expensive," or "money is tight." But the ultra-rich have eliminated that vocabulary. They don't speak in terms of limitation. They speak in terms of possibility. Instead of, I can't, they ask, how can I? Instead of saying something is too expensive, they might say, it's not aligned with my goals right now. Or, I'm prioritizing investments that bring a return. This shift may seem subtle, but its impact is massive. It reframes the mind to seek solutions instead of accepting restrictions. Even more powerful is their use of present, tense affirmations. The ultra-rich don't speak about wealth as a far-off dream. They bring it into the now with words like, I am attracting financial opportunities. I am expanding my impact. And I am living in alignment with wealth. They don't wait for proof to speak their truth. They speak their truth to create the proof. Speaking in present tense builds identity, and identity drives behavior. When you declare, I am a successful entrepreneur, your mind begins to align your choices, habits, and environment to match that declaration. That's how thought becomes action, and action becomes reality. But their language is not only about declarations, it's also about responsibility. The ultra-rich never speak from victimhood. They don't blame the market, their past, or external circumstances for where they are. They own their power. Even when life hits hard, they say things like, this experience is teaching me something valuable. Or, I'll use this to grow. They understand that the words, it's not my fault, might bring momentary comfort, but they strip away personal power. Instead, they ask better questions. What can I learn from this? What does this moment require from me? How can I respond at a higher level? These questions move them forward, while blame locks others in place. Faith plays a major role in how they speak. The ultra-rich don't speak fear, even when fear is present. They choose language that affirms trust, alignment, and vision. Most people speak fear as if it's a fact. What if I fail? What if this doesn't work? What if I lose it all? But the ultra-rich speak from a different set of assumptions. They ask, what if this leads to something bigger? What if this is exactly what I needed to grow? What if everything is working out for me? This is not just positive thinking, it's strategic speaking. Their faith shows up in how they speak before the breakthrough, not just after. It's easy to talk like a champion when things are going well. But the ultra-rich have trained themselves to speak faith even in the waiting. They also have a powerful habit of guarding their verbal environment. The ultra-rich don't entertain gossip, complaining, or low-vibration conversations. They are acutely aware of how negativity, even in casual talk, affects creativity and momentum. You won't hear them complaining about people, politics, or problems they can't control. Not because they're passive, but because they are focused. Their words are sacred. Their energy is valuable. They use their voice to build, not to tear down. If a conversation isn't empowering, they shift it, or leave it. They know that every word they speak plants a seed, and they refuse to grow weeds in their mental garden. These speech habits are not just communication strategies, they are spiritual disciplines. They represent a deep internal decision to speak only that which builds, blesses, and brings forward momentum. The ultra-rich understand that the tongue is a rudder. It steers the ship. Most people use that rudder to drift, but the ultra-rich use it to navigate, with clarity, faith, vision, and precision. And this isn't reserved for the elite. Anyone can learn this language. Anyone can upgrade the way they speak about money, purpose, relationships, and life. In conclusion, the ultra-rich speak a language that creates transformation. They speak from certainty, not doubt. They eliminate limitation from their vocabulary. They affirm their reality in the present tense. They take responsibility through their words. They speak faith instead of fear. And they fiercely protect their verbal environment. These are not isolated habits. They are woven into their identity. And that identity is what draws success to them effortlessly. The good news is that this power is not exclusive to them. It is available to anyone who is willing to change the way they speak. Your words are your signature. They write your future, whether you mean them to or not. Every sentence either aligns you with abundance or keeps you tied to limitation. Choose your words as if your future depends on them, because it does. Speak like the ultra-rich, not to impress others, but to instruct your mind, to elevate your vibration, and to build a life worthy of your voice. Speak with purpose, and everything else will follow. The ultra-rich operate in a world shaped not just by wealth, but by the words they use. To most people, speech is a tool for sharing thoughts. But for the ultra-rich, speech is a tool for shaping destiny. They understand that language is more than communication, it's creation. What they say, how they say it, and when they say it holds power that directly impacts the results they experience. Speaking like the ultra-rich isn't about fancy vocabulary or perfect grammar. It's about adopting a mindset of abundance, vision, and intention through your words. They speak with certainty, even when the outcome is unclear. You won't hear them using passive phrases like, "Hopefully this works out," or "maybe one day." Instead, they say, "This is what I'm building," or "This is the direction I'm going." Their words reveal a decision has already been made, and their reality is catching up to it. That kind of verbal confidence is contagious. It influences others and commands respect. Speaking with certainty isn't arrogance, it's leadership. The ultra-rich know that the world responds not just to talent, but to clarity. People trust those who sound sure, and sure speech is learned through repeated inner belief. In contrast to the average mindset that repeats problems, the ultra-rich focus their language on solutions and outcomes. Most people say, "This is hard," or "I don't know how." The wealthy reframe that into, "What's the next step?" or "Who can help me solve this?" Their language moves energy forward. It doesn't dwell, it doesn't complain, it searches, it builds. This shift from problem-oriented language to solution-focused speech is subtle but powerful. It rewires your brain to search for progress rather than excuses. And over time, this difference becomes visible in results, opportunities, and momentum. They also eliminate scarcity-based language. The ultra-rich do not casually say, "I can't afford that," or "I'm broke." These phrases may seem harmless, but they reinforce limitation at a subconscious level. Instead, they use empowered alternatives like, "It's not my priority right now," or "I'm relocating resources." The key is that their words don't reinforce lack, they communicate choice. Scarcity mindset is fueled by speech that makes you feel powerless. Wealthy individuals speak in a way that maintains control, dignity, and forward focus. You'll never hear them diminish themselves, even during financial challenges. A powerful trait of the ultra-rich is their use of identity-based language. They don't say, "I'm trying to become successful." They say, "I am a successful person building bigger outcomes." The distinction is profound. Instead of seeing wealth as a destination, they speak from the belief that it is already part of who they are. This activates a psychological mechanism called cognitive consistency, where the mind strives to align behavior with identity. By declaring who they are now, not who they hope to become someday, they trigger internal alignment that drives purposeful decisions and bold action. Their language is also deeply intentional and present tense. They speak about goals as if they are already unfolding. Rather than saying, "I want to be financially free," they say, "I am building financial freedom daily." This creates emotional connection with the goal. It brings the future into the present, which increases belief and discipline. Their present, tense language acts like a bridge between vision and reality. They understand that waiting for external proof before speaking success creates delay. So instead, they use words to build belief. Then belief shapes behavior, and behavior creates proof. Another hallmark of the ultra Rich is that they guard their verbal environment. They are highly selective about the conversations they allow around them. Gossip, complaining, and victim talk are seen as poison, not because they are morally above it, but because they know words affect focus. A few minutes of negativity can drain hours of creative energy. That's why you'll often find them redirecting conversations, changing topics, or even walking away. They speak life into people, ideas, and rooms. They understand that environments are either empowering or eroding, and their words are the architects of that atmosphere. Most importantly, they speak with vision. Everything they say about their future carries imagery, emotion, and direction. They don't just say, "I want to be rich." They say, "I'm building a legacy that creates freedom for generations." That type of language isn't wishful thinking. It's a map. It provides them with internal fuel when external motivation fades. The ultra-rich are vivid with their words because they know that vague speech creates vague results. Clear, powerful speech is like setting coordinates into the GPS of your life. You speak it, and then you walk it. In conclusion, learning to speak like the ultra-rich isn't about copying their words. It's about embodying their mindset through your language. They speak with certainty, frame challenges through solutions, eliminate scarcity phrases, speak from identity, use present, tense affirmations, guard their verbal space, and talk with vision. These habits aren't reserved for a select few. They're available to anyone who is willing to become conscious of their speech and take ownership of their narrative. When you change how you speak, you change how you think. When you change how you think, you change what you expect, and what you expect is often what you experience. So speak as if your voice shapes reality, because it does. Speak as if wealth is already inside you, because it is. Speak like a leader, a visionary, a creator, not just for others to hear, but for your subconscious to obey. The words you use daily are not random. They are instructions to your future. The moment you begin speaking like the ultra-rich, everything begins to change, not because the world shifts instantly, but because you